part two.
Yeah, we're getting deeper into the rural area. Some places they don't even have like reception, but we'll see how long we're gonna last.
You should be getting a little bit closer, huh?
Yeah, that looks like the city right there. That's a lot of houses. Beautiful. Wow. Hey, you know what? Zion just says you look like you're getting into more rural. That looks beautiful. That's neighborhood.
Very rural. Yeah, and here it's such a beautiful day too. It's always sunshine.
Yeah, the air smells different, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, the air should smell so
yeah.
clean.
The people are different. The air is different. I mean, it's such a simple life people live. Day life,
Mm-hmm. Hey,
simple life.
Miss Miss Drummer Cat, can I go to the bathroom,
That's what,
please?
Yeah.
Can I be excused for a second? Can I go to the bathroom? I gotta go use the restroom. I gotta go
yeah,
potty.
you're allowed to go.
I got Zion right here.
All right, I'll be back. I gotta go potty.
Hey, Zion.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
amazing. I'm so very happy that you're making this journey and you're having all this in your life right now. I know you can't help but your heart just feel so full now, you know, and I really can't.
yeah.
Hey, it's nice. Look at that. I really can't imagine what it would be like to meet the Rasta priest, but I know that's just the feeling that you have is amazing. I feel like I'm right there with you. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to basically keep our conversation based around cannabis. Can you talk about that right now? Hello? Uh-oh. Lost you again. Okay, so I guess this is time for uh, a little commercial break. I was just about to talk about
You
that
go get a
rolling paper.
commercial break.
Yeah, I was just about to go
Snack.
into Crenshaw.
Oh,
There we go, rolling papers.
I was
I
gonna
was
talk. I was
about
gonna talk about Zuzus and Ram Whams.
You know,
Susan Whalen. There we go. She's back, I think. You there, Zia? Okay. So you got some Zuzus and Wham Whams. What you got?
was my history. But
My favorite candy, Reese's,
Reese's.
and I mix it up with the Kit Kats, and then I top it off with the York peppermint patties. They need, they need to give us some money for that now.
That's your trio.
Yeah, that's my trio I go to with a Pepsi.
Oh wow.
this time, actually, this is my first time going to the where the Rastafarians are.
Yeah,
It's
and this
actually exciting for me too. I've never been there before.
wow. Uh,
I always heard
So,
about it, and I always wanted to come, and you know, but never met it. See,
well,
I need some Rasta clothes right there. There's some. I just missed the the clothes they selling like that right there. Yeah.
okay.
Come back later. I want to buy some.
So what's the
Yeah.
Longana?
Huh? Let's see.
Where is Longana Lake?
Huh?
Where is Longana Lake at?
Langano Lake is by it's near Shashemonie. There
Uh-huh.
are a lot of lakes by Langano. That's where we come. Sometimes when you want to get away from the city of Addis Ababa, that's where you come to the Langano Lake. They have beautiful resorts there.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful resort. No, all fresh. Mm. But listen, so
see,
just bear with me 1 second.
yeah, I
We need
went.
to call. We here, so we need to call him.
Okay.
Okay, so
Girl, just hang up and call him, girl. There you go.
I did that. See, you was laughing already.
Because I'm just so excited. It's
Oh,
just it's just a beautiful thing. And
see, I
I
was
had
gonna, I was gonna ask her if there was look. I wanted to know, but see, now I feel out of place because now I want to know if there was fishermen in that lake, and what kind of fish is in there.
well then I mean you're talking so of course there's fish in the lake. There has to be because it's all organic. So you have to see what's the land in Ethiopia is 100% organic. So that would be a
What kind?
natural
What kind
God
of?
lake.
What kind of fish you think in there?
Well, it would have to be something, a type of fish that comes from that area. I
I
don't
mean,
know. Yeah, let me ask a question.
I'm gonna.
Okay, Google. Okay, Google. What type of fish do you catch in Ethiopia? No. Okay, Google. Up the volume to 8.
What you say?
She didn't get it. Okay, Google. What type of fish could I catch in Ethiopia? What fish do squid catch? No, I didn't ask that.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought you were gonna say that's the fish
Okay,
that they.
okay, Google, stop.
She's just running her mouth now.
Yeah, she's talking to me about squid. Um, wow. Okay, Google, what type of fish would I catch in Ethiopia, Africa, if I went fishing?
Let's see how good she is.
Yes.
Oh, you want to see his picture? Yeah, make sure so you're talking to him. Okay.
And we're back.
Sardines, anchovies. That's the type of fish I would catch in the African coast.
So we're gonna
Ooh.
follow Kuminda's son.
So yes, there would be fish in that lake.
Can we go in there? Can we drive in there? Yeah. Okay.
Uh oh.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me.
We're gonna walk. We're gonna walk. You guys gonna walk with me.
Okay.
Walk with me. Walk with me and talk with me.
Come on.
Okay.
See, it's all about walking here. Oh, I'm killing me. Put my shoes on.
No, you ain't supposed to go in there. Take your shoes off.
Maybe
Like,
Go in
that's
there.
why
Go in there barefooted, girl.
yeah.
you're gonna do that when you
Huh?
come to Africa. I grew up here with barefoot, so you're the one who needs to tell.
Uh, Let me see. Let me look at my feet. Nah, they think too smooth. They too smooth.
Let's see.
And mine are way too tender.
Kaftan toe, Barun. Yeah, I got my Rasta dress too. Yeah.
That's how weird some of his dress.
Huh?
That's how Rasta woman dress.
Yeah, I know. See, I'm a Rasta in the spirit.
That's your rest. Rasta in his spirit, by
Say
the
hi
way.
to my friends.
So let's see, I. This is
Hi.
Dabu from
Oh, look.
Shashemonie. This is
Yeah.
Dabu
Sasha
from
money.
Shashemonie. Yep.
Top of the morning to you too, my brother.
Morning, Toma.
It's all from America,
It's all from America. Whoa.
California,
Respect.
Yeah.
Sacramento.
Is it behind me?
Yes.
That, that's
Yes.
the Nyabingi Church. You know, you heard it, they destroyed the church last time
Uh
because they
huh.
want to take
Yeah.
a road. That's the road they destroyed the church. So fully when we go inside after meeting Kaminda, you guys gonna visit with us the Nyabingi Church, and maybe if your sister have time, other places too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All
Thank you,
right.
brother.
Let's see. You're more
Thank you.
than welcome. Let's see.
Thank you.
Yeah, one
Let's
love.
see.
Selassie.
Bless ya.
Aye.
You see, I'm dressed for it too.
Yeah.
Molly, right there.
So that's the land.
Yeah, bless up.
Let's see. So this is just the behind of the Nyabingi. Next door we got Raskaminda's house.
Just tell them a little bit about Rasta and Shashemonie,
Well,
just the history of it a little bit.
the history is a lot. As you know, in Rastafari here in this community, we got like four communities. We got the Ethiopian World Federations, which is the land administrations, and we
Okay.
got Church of Israel that was established by Dr. Vernon Carrington, which we call him Gadman, in
Okay.
Jamaica in 1956. And again, the next one we got Nyabingi Church, as I say, is the Aishantal Rutical Aishantal, it's churchical order. And the fourth one we got Bobo Shanti, Bobo Camp. So there's
Okay.
a committee we have, but when it comes to the main thing, like here in Shashamani, all the Rastas have been here from the first pioneers that live for more than 50 years. During There's people that even get reward from His Majesty. If you know Noel Dyer, he passed away. He actually walked come to Ethiopia, to Shashamani, and he get a gift from His Majesty, and he's the one actually even give out the land grant to the Ethiopian World Federation. Um, there's a lot to say because we're walking and I don't want this history to trip because the road kind of
Okay.
rough.
It's okay.
I can
Okay.
say safely.
Okay.
Welcome to
Okay.
So
Raskamindas.
this is where Kabinda lives.
Say the road is kind of rough.
All right, walk with me.
I will walking.
Oh dear. Hello, hello. Hey, Rasta. See hello, Selassie here. Hey, Kabinda. Oh, yeah. Hi, hi. I'm here live from California, Sacramento. Say hi to everyone. Hello, hello. How are you?
Blessings. Blessings.
Blessing.
Yes, blessing. Yes. So
Son.
they want to have, yes, here is your chance to talk to the priest himself, the Rasta. He's been here. How long have you been here again?
30.
30 years? Wow. 30 years. So
Mhm.
That's
how is
what.
it going here?
Yeah, it's as life is throughout the world now. There is trials and tribulations. So yeah, have the ups and downs. Now it's been relatively calm for the last year and a half. It's been quite peaceful.
Oh, good.
So give thanks for that.
Yeah.
Because up in the north, it is insanity taking place.
Yes.
So we have to pray for the peace of Ethiopia
Yes.
so we
Yes, we
can
have
put an
to.
end to the war.
Yes, yes, yes. So just tell them, we have, as you know, we have a Shashemonie, they're a carnivorous facility. These are my team. So they wanted to know a little bit about Shashemonie, what it means, especially for the Rastafarian community.
Well, it was the land that was granted by His Majesty for services rendered during the Italian invasion.
Yes.
So it was first granted to the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, but at, and now it is more Rastafari for our inclination for repatriation and our link with His Majesty that we pick it up as our responsibility to come home and to establish ourselves here. So that is what we have come on. Unfortunately, now most of the land has been taken away, so it is not the same way as it was when it was given. Now all the lands are occupied by our fellow Ethiopians because much of us didn't come home at the time. So now we have to develop the little that we have, but now Shashamane is a city. It's no longer a peasant farmers association. So if a city, there are urban laws and regulations that now limit you to 500 square meter per person due to the population census.
Growing.
Yeah, so now it is difficult to survive by agricultural means on the little 500 square meters that you might have. I might be the only person who have a little area that is about 1,000 square meters down by the riverside where nobody else has really occupied. Most of the lands now are occupied. So it's all one of the points of contention, not contention, but point of the reasoning we might want to have with the government. Because a land grant, according to international law, cannot be abrogated. But now it is occupied by our fellow Ethiopians. But at the same time, it was granted to an organization for services rendered. And most of us as Rastafari, we are desirous of getting land for agricultural development because you must be able to sustain yourself.
Yes.
So that is what we hopefully, when maybe the war is over and there's more peaceful relations in the country, we can talk to the government and ask them for an appropriate alternative land that we might get, that we can get into commercial farming, residential and agro-industrial development, those levels. That is what we are more hoping for, to get into a serious discussion in them.
Yes. That's what that's what I do too. Like, I have Shiva farms too. So here I'm trying to farm my teff. And then in America, I'm trying to farm my carnivores.
Yeah, that is it. You need to convince the government here to allow us to get involved in the cannabis industry because Ethiopia will be borrowing money from the IMF. Where there's a 19 billion potential here if we establish a cannabis industry. So it's good if it's have Ethiopian born people who can bring those matters to them because it is demonized.
But it's going to take time for that, though. People are not ready here yet.
You have to explain to them it is an economical responsibility.
Especially hemp.
Hemp
is an amazing plant that you can actually, sustain yourself through housing, through clothes, through over 500 industry you can create.
Because you see, the reality is we don't be going and beg money from the World Bank. We don't be going and beg money from IMF. Why should we be doing that when there's an industry that could cover all those expenditures?
I mean, I guess.
So it's that we have to try to show them and explain to them. This come out of the game because if just read on the internet, the whole world has legalized cannabis. Ethiopia maybe is the last place in the world ganja is not legal. Even where I come from in my country, they just announced they're going to establish a cannabis industry throughout the Caribbean.
Dominica,
throughout the entire Caribbean, Jamaica, St. Kitts, Antigua, St. Lucia, all these small islands. Here is Malawi, South Africa, Botswana.
But Ethiopians are not ready, though. You think they're ready for that? Education. Yeah, there's a lot of education.
Because there's a lot of demonization. Educate and enlighten our people. And make them understand there's a lot of medicine that can be made from it. You understand? And it's a great economical value. It could wipe out the unemployment situation. You have a situation here, even Shashemonie's example, where at least 40% of the youth population have no work.
Yeah.
So you have to have some activity, some economic activity that they could get involved in
In
that could sustain.
agriculture. Yeah.
Otherwise, that will cause to social instability. So
Yeah.
it is in the favor of the government to try to legalize it. But
Yeah.
it's I and I who have to project it and
Yeah.
push it to them. Man.
Thailand just legalize it and just like they just say it's
No,
legal now.
they had a million plans for everybody to get a plan to
Yeah.
plant in their yard. No, it is serious because the herb has a lot of benefits. I juice it every day. The bigger leaves of the ganja tree, we use it to make juice.
Yeah, the CBD itself, the
CBD,
painkiller, and
yeah.
instead of
But
taking the Western to give us medicine,
Wow.
CBD
but
is a natural
And
medicine.
it cure cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Sorry, go ahead, Montana. Do you
yeah,
have?
yeah, no, I was gonna say, sometimes and this is from a brother that has been in the cannabis industry here in California since probably about 1998. Started growing medicinally, and then went into producing and selling in dispensaries. And when we went legal here in 2018, California wasn't ready then, and they're still not ready now. There's so many different laws and taxes to where it's a lot of people that have lost money getting into the cannabis business seeing this. So my front on that was to make decriminalize it, not necessarily all the way make it legal, because anything with legal, them other people are going to want their money too for work that they don't even put in. But if you decriminalize it to where you're not going to punish me, you know what I mean? Like if I had a tomato, or if I had, save some water, you're not going to come in and take me to jail or take away my crop. I think that would be so much better, because to me, it's a seed. It's
well, that is the first step. That is a vital first step to decriminalize it. Because that
yeah,
is the problem we face here. Imagine yourself in the 21st century
Yeah.
being arrested for planting
Yeah. It's a
exactly.
God-given
Yeah.
plant. Yeah.
So that is a good point. At least that is a first stage you can maybe then,
Yes.
because we all consider that to as Rasta to make the government understand that it's part of our sacramental rights according to the Constitution. It should be respected as such.
Yeah.
But all those things is for further discussion. But it's
Yeah.
a distinction that we hopefully can convince the government that we're supposed to allow I and I to allow it to use it and not be criminalized for.
Yes.
Because right now it is the economy of the ghetto.
Yeah.
Here in the rural areas, it is
Yeah.
ganja run the economy. Most farmers plant it as a subsistent economy, and that is how they maintain themselves.
I
It's
mean,
just
even for
it's the
me,
same.
that's
Listen,
what.
it's the same
Mm,
way here. It's the same way
yeah.
here. Don't get it. No, it's the same way here.
I mean, that's why even me, I got into the cannabis industry because even though African Americans are the most highly affected when it comes to criminalization of cannabis, but right now only 2% of the people are benefiting, while 98% of the people in the industry are white and Asians. So it's just not, it's very unfair why our people don't benefit from cannabis that they've been criminal,
Persecuted.
persecuted in prison for, but now it's legal. Everybody's benefiting but us. Yeah. So it don't make sense to me why we as black people should not benefit while other people benefit,
That is why
especially economy.
we should seek patent rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We should really, especially in the United States, our black people, we were left when it comes to agriculture, when it comes to all kind of industries. Now, cannabis, they made it like as if it's a black thing. Now, when they legalizing it, we are left behind.
Yeah.
So that's why I called it Shashemonie420, because I wanted to be connected to the Rastafarians here, because it's not just cannabis for business. That's what they're making it now.
Yeah.
It's actually a spiritual thing. It's a healing thing. It's our suffering. We black people suffered because of cannabis. So why not take that ownership you see what I mean?
Yeah.
To this is our, cannabis is our thing, and then benefit our people and create generational wealth for our
Like in
people.
South Africa,
Yeah,
all the brothers and them have campaign. They're
yeah,
still campaigning for that same right.
yeah,
For to get the right way, they are the ones in control and not some
yeah,
multinational that's coming. Because as always is in a lot of the other countries, they have a costing for a license that is so extraordinary that is only a multinational who could make that
yeah.
requirement.
They're doing it by deliberate, and instead of yeah, and instead.
A old jail. We
Yeah.
make the jail into a cannabis something.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it
yeah.
making cookies and it doing all of that thing, but they had to pass a lot of money for that license.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They make their license so expensive. Right now, I'm part of this equity. That's why I'm trying to build my Shashemonie there. I'm part of this equity that they saying that okay, now black people don't have to pay too much for licensing and everything. So that's why I'm getting involved in that. But otherwise, it's so hard even to get in
But
because they make it so expensive.
you know what? Hold on. Can I intervene a little bit?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Because we always hear that side of the story, and like I said, I've been in the business for a while. I too participated in the equity business here, but I had to actually
mhm,
look. I had to actually look on the outside and instead of looking on the inside and see because I grow cannabis indoor, outdoor, and
yeah,
it's like this here. Check this out. If you came to my house tonight and I made you the best uh barbecue rib plate you ever had, right? You like, ooh, you'd be like, brother, you should open a restaurant. We can then drive around Sacramento tomorrow and see an infrastructure that used to be a restaurant and probably go in there, sign a lease, uh change the title outside to from this to that, throw a couple little wallpaper on there and open that restaurant up within 2 months. The difference is with cannabis is that there's no infrastructure that was established or set up to house a lot of the cannabis stuff that we need to do indoor or outdoor that would keep
mm,
stuff out. So a lot of people complain about the licensing and different things like that. I beg to differ. The licensing, they need people to get a license. The problem with us black folks here in the United States is we don't have land and we don't have property. The white folks and the
yeah,
Asians have the property. So
yeah,
when that came in, they had the buildings, they had all of that. We don't have any property. So we cannot keep saying that they're leaving us out. You know what I mean? Because they're not. If we had land and we had property, guess what? We'll open them doors right then and there because they're going to give us our license because they need to make money on taxes. So they're not going to just turn you away if you don't have a building. The problem is we don't have land. And you see what we're going through right now with getting a building and different things like that to get that up and going. So I don't want to us for as black folks say they're leaving us out, leaving us out. They've always left us out. That's nothing new. We got to find a
mm,
way to get in. You know what I
yes,
mean? Whether it's through the
yes.
front door, the back door, the side door, the window, or just being nice and ringing the doorbell and being invited in and just, coming in until we find out how to really run that operation. So, yeah, I think that's
But
the biggest problem is we don't have any land. We don't have any property.
yeah, but that's why we need funds. We don't have the money. When we don't have the funds, these people already have ahead of us when it comes to creating generational wealth through slavery, through land owning, through
Us
other opportunity. We
us as
still
black
we still don't have the funds to be able to
we
own
got
lands.
we got no we got funds because I had the opportunity to do something to get land and had
Right.
some people that had funds that didn't want to take funds and invest in the acreage that I had. So there's funds out there like you and I know there's funds people, but a lot of us are stingy or
Mm-hmm.
clingy or just like this is mine, and we don't want to invest with our with others because maybe sometimes it's not their idea, or I have an idea of my own, or I'm trying to do it this way and I don't see it your way. So I don't see it like it's like, we don't have this money, but some people just don't want to give you the money to do it because I want to do it. I would just want to keep it and do what I want to do with it.
Yeah.
So
And
I
that's
mean, go ahead, drama cut.
what are we about to do now? What are we doing?
So I wanted you to tell us a little bit about the history of carnivores, the history of Shashemonie here, and that way people. I mean, I really wanna. When it comes to carnivores, it kind of got lost. They think it's like drug or whatever, but I really believe, like especially here in Shashemonie, you guys represent carnivores as a spiritual connection. So if you can just talk about that here, and instead of making it, that stigma, it's not
Because if you watch an example in Ethiopian tradition, the
Yeah.
Batawi priest,
about, yeah.
yeah, they have always used ganja over the years, and it's always been part of their tradition.
Mm,
Yeah. But for that, they get a certain ostracized. But when I first came here, they told me that before, when they used to have school running, they would just lock up the youth and them in a room and burn herb for 3 days and keep the room closed. And when the youth and them come out, they would be enlightened in many things of the world just from the
from the
inhalation of
cannabis,
the.
yeah,
So it's been an integral part of Ethiopian culture. It's just that over the years and through different little vibes and the well Western system and the media, they have turned it up as though it's something foreign to Ethiopia. But
yeah,
it's been an integral part of Ethiopia's culture. It's
yeah,
just like to I and I, Rastafari, the ganja is the thing that keep us maintain our spirituality over the years, all the struggles we go through in the Caribbean. What a lot of people don't understand, in the Caribbean, it wasn't no joy, right? It wasn't just Bob Marley singing song. We
yeah,
go through blood, sweat, and tears to stand up as Farai and to defend the herb.
yeah,
Like, for instance, the country I am from, they sent me to hang. And I spent 5.5 years in solitary confinement just because I declare myself to be a Rasta man and defending the right to smoke herb and saying
Wow.
we should break from Western colonialism and establish our own identity as African people.
yeah,
But for that, we were viciously suppressed. So the
yeah,
herb is very, very integral to ionize subsistence and humanity.
yes,
You understand? And so it is, and right now, if you look in Ethiopia, most of the youth and them, at least 70% of the youth and them, uh, live up on the herb, man. Appreciate it and recognize the value of it and guide it. I have them guided in a certain spiritual path where they know besides all the things of the world, there is a certain way of liberty that a human is supposed to aspire to. You're not supposed to be living without conscience. You have to live
yes,
in a certain pathway. Ethiopia being the birthplace of all spiritual values. Now the youth and them are beginning to absorb it and accept it and defend it very, very, very strongly now.
yeah. So just tell us a little bit about, connecting to that, how you're talking about this is the Ethiopia's the birth of spirit, the birth of humanity. Most people don't even know. So if you can just talk to us about that.
We could just watch on the example of the Batawi priests
Yeah,
who when you really study their liberty, it's almost the same liberty as those who were supposed to be apostles at the time of before. And their closeness and relation with the herb because they recognize the value of it in spiritual meditation.
yeah,
And it has kept them together all over the years. And they are the only people here in Ethiopia who really maintain that spiritual liberty. Everybody now get absorbed in the things of the world and the materialistic aspect of things, but they have maintained that integrity. So it is critical to ionize subsistence as an Ethiopian people. It's just for INI to take time and then research our historical background and recognize, well, listen, it's not only in Ethiopia. Ganja has been part of African culture throughout the entire continent.
yeah,
Way down in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, and then places they call it daga. And when you go into those places, it was the elder people used to meet planted it. And they
mm,
know that has been part of their culture for thousands of years.
yeah,
So it's just we to just research it and bring it to light that it was there from the first day of creation.
Yeah.
Like every other tree, so every other tree you see growing in creation, it was there with it.
Yeah.
You understand this no distinction is because the colonial forces know that if ganja is to free up and black people consciousness is to awaken. Because
Mm.
remember the CBC, the THC instills certain activate certain faculties of the
Oh,
brain
yeah.
that is specific when it's stimulated by such.
Yeah.
So they would know that would rise our consciousness.
Yeah.
So that is why they so viciously suppress it because they have you blowing your mind watching TV and following their will and scheme of things.
Yeah.
Whereas if our people are smoking herb, we'll be more meditative, we'll be more be imaginative, and we're more focusing on our cultural heritage and liberty
Yeah.
rather than seeking to aspire to their insanity.
Yeah.
So in that regard, we watch it. That's why you see we know this continue to fight it.
Mm.
Because when you drink alcohol, you get foolish and stupid and you want to beat your woman, you want to
Yeah.
curse, you want to fight, you lose all your senses. But with herb, the more you smoke herb and the more you relax, it's deeper you go into meditation. So then you'll be able to see things in a much different light. So that is what you see they really fight it for. Because of the consciousness it will create and the awareness it will bring amongst I and I people. Because already it is already there because you can see the youth and them now who have picked it up. Very serious in their liberty now.
Yeah.
They put aside everything and they just want to be walking in Yahweh. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of time. Nothing can stop that evolution. It will come to pass.
Yeah.
No force on it can stop that because it is who I and I really are.
Yeah.
You understand? We are Adam. I
Yeah.
and I are Adam. We
Yeah.
are no different. I and I are the first ones in creation.
Yeah.
Like I told our brother Gilbert, that the first man, instead of going and search for dead bones, you just have to study the liberty of a Rasta man. That is how first man lived.
Yeah.
You understand? I and I are from the beginning of time. We are not just come.
Yeah.
We've been there from that time, and that is why now we are so aligned with something which is natural in the creation. In Indian culture, they say it's the god Shiva that gave ganja as a gift to I and I as people. Same way in our culture, we research it, we see it been an integral part because that's the reason the Bata with them hold on to it so closely because they know the roots of everything. Ganja was an integral part of that.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Do you have any question, Montana, for him?
I do. Were you friends with brother Ross Moody?
Ras who?
Russ Moody.
Ras Moody?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my elder brother. That's him.
Yeah, wise man. I follow him.
Yeah, yeah. He's our elder, our Reverend elder. Unfortunately, he passed recently,
Yeah,
but
I
he's
heard.
very close friend. I
My
had for
condolence.
several years. We worked together because I'm part of the federation. He was one of the pioneers of the federation here in Ethiopia. He
Hmm.
play a very critical role in defending the land grant. Yeah, very important in the
Yeah.
history of Shashemonie.
Yeah, and I think I want you to talk about a little bit about Ethiopia to how humanity even started here. I know Henry told me that even animals, the oldest animals, were found in here, let alone human beings. So this is where all the spirit comes from, the God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and mixed with the human being. So if you can just just educate us on that.
You just have to check. Yeah. You just have to check the fullness of everything because in Ethiopia, the roots go way forward. You have to check the Aksumite civilization and the pre-Aksumite civilization. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sheba, the Saba, and all those times. Yeah, linking way up into the pyramidical in Egypt, which was built by Ethiopian kings. So our civilization is external. It goes way into time. So it's way to recognize ourselves. You see, right now the Western media has so demonized Ethiopia. It's because they don't want you to arise. They don't want the history to be known.
Yeah.
In the Caribbean, in Rastafari, The whole world now knows about Ethiopia because we don't stop talk about Ethiopia. We make the research, we print magazines, we print books because we recognize that it's a binding force now for I and I as an African people who have experienced slavery and who were denigrated and who were culturally suppressed to now regain our identity is by understanding our spirituality. That is the basis of liberty.
Yeah.
For humanity, there is a certain path of life that I and I is supposed to live. And that is where we're going to search out. We study the life of the monks and them, or we study men like Tekla Haymanot and those ancient saints of the Ethiopian tradition. And you see, these were special people, particular ones, whose liberty, nowhere else, you cannot figure out that those ones and ones accepted that liberty, lived it, and left a historical legacy that I and I can now visualize, well, yes, this is how the path is. And we have diverted to such a level, but in reality, this is where we're supposed to be walking. It's that way. You see, like now, even the church in itself has become corrupted in a certain format because imagine in the 21st century, you're still projecting a white Jesus and Mary. This is an insult to the intelligence of African people. How in the 21st century you can still be showing white Mary and white Jesus when you know that was a tool of slavery, that was a colonial legacy. That was what they used to brainwash us and make us believe everything good is white. And as black people, we are the sinners and we are the devil. And yet now you find in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, whose legacy goes back to time, is now promoting a false effigy and saying, well, he's Jesus, and leading processions with this big white Jesus and Mary. And when I first came here into Ethiopia in 1991, there was no white Jesus and Mary in no church. Everywhere we went to, there were black figurines representing, because even in the Vatican, it is the black Madonna and child that is revered and adored. So how is it we in Africa and we promoting this colonial myth and legacy? So these are some of the things
So
that
brainwashed,
Question the reason that I heard in the Selassie Church. You say that's for the tourists. That was the question.
That's for the
I
tourists.
think they're changing it now because the reason I think why it is because it's a manipulating of the mind. That time, we didn't know what picture is, whatever they gave us. You know what I mean? Even for Ethiopians, they just accepted that time. But right now, I think they're changing that picture. Even in Europe, even if you go to France, they have Black Madonna.
They have pictures of the Pope and them kissing the black Madonna. And
I mean, it makes sense too because imagine like how on earth is like Jesus can be a white man. There was no white man in the Middle East or Ethiopia or anywhere. So, but it was all manipulation that time for slavery, and all that stuff.
And you see, the Vatican now almost seem to have more control over the Orthodox Church than the church itself. So now for they give them money and different things, so they now promote that. But that is a very dangerous path to follow. Because to be assistant in keeping our people brainwashed, it will come back upon you.
It's coming back on them too
because
now.
what you're doing there is deliberate falsification, and then you're glorifying it. Like so everybody.
False glorifying.
These are still some of the factors that we have to break down to make our people understand that spirituality began here, that all forms of religious thought processes started here in Ethiopia and developed over a period of time. But now they're trying to minimize Ethiopia's contribution, and there's to as well is Europe alone that was civilized, and I were the barbarians. When the greatest barbarians were the Europeans. The slavery, the act that they put I into slavery, that barbarity of slavery, that alone is supposed to classify them as some of the greatest terrorists that ever walked the face of this earth. Because we have to study what was slavery. There was no greater dehumanization ever exercised upon a people than what happened to the African slave trade. So it's all these things we need to come out and regain everything and do not make that change I. Because we went for slavery, we have a vicious mind, a revengeful heart That has never been part of our nature. We
No.
are people who live that peacify ourselves and glorify the Most High and was satisfied with the simple things of life. Now through the beat us and do us so many things. Now we desperate to come out and be like them.
Yeah.
Rather than be like
Ourselves.
humble selves.
Yeah. I mean, that's what for me is that's the challenge for me, especially when I go to I live in America, and I am very connected to the African American community. So I feel like there is so much disconnect between the Africans and the African Americans by design. They're not even, they are taught not to even to look at Africa. Like as soon as you mention Africa, they only think about Africa is poor, Africa is this. Do you see what I mean? So how do we reverse that? I mean, Africa is the mother of human being, civilization, everything. They learned it from us. They took everything from
The
us.
same way they use their media
Yeah.
and project them. We now have to develop our own media formats and be
Yes.
able to be projecting the true image
Yeah.
of what Africa really stands for and
There you go.
awakening for our brothers and sisters out in the West. In the Caribbean, consciousness is much closer to Africa
Yeah.
than maybe finding places like America and things. So a lot
Yeah.
of the youth and them now overstand that and are proudly defend their identity as African people. But out in the West, for all the material values of things, still have people attached to different things. They want to fancy this and fancy that. They just block their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't want to consider what is to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the media, all they show is, oh, Africa is this. The only thing they show is Africa is starving, Africa is in war. When actually more black people die in honestly, black people die in America than in Africa. Young people are being murdered by the police, by community violence, and all that every day. But they teach them in the media where Africa is even worse. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but reversing that mentality, unless we can make African Americans to Africa, Africans to African American, and Caribbean, how do we solve that problem?
Well, the first problem we have to solve is that we have to stop killing one another. It's total insanity for I and I as an African people to be killing
Right.
one another.
Yeah.
Can be no excuse for war. This is total insanity. We
Hmm.
cannot be resorting to
Man,
war and to be killing, exercising some big, or we start blowing up one another, killing hundreds of people. This will bring curse upon us.
Hmm.
Here in Ethiopia, over in Chad, over in Mali, and this insanity have to come to an end. We have to put an end to that. We don't make no guns.
Yeah.
So how is it we are killing one another with guns? And we
Yeah.
don't make no guns.
Yeah.
So where are our mentality going? How we get so stupid that somebody is giving us guns to kill one another?
Yeah.
Where can we?
It amazes me too. How do we teach these young people that by design, giving it to them, that gun is available. We living in a gun culture,
Yeah.
and the gun is right there
This,
available to
this is
them.
where the so-called religious bodies have failed, even here in Ethiopia. Is that they have not taken a definite stand to denounce that sudden resort to arms and struggle. In the last fighting that took place there, they say close to 500,000 youths lost their life. How we can be doing such insanity? How can we killing the flowers of the nation? We're sending them on the battlefield.
Mm.
There must be a form of dialogue established amongst ourselves to solve all those matters. Or we can just justify letting go bombs and letting go bombs. How many youth here from Shashemonie, their parents and them, after 1 year getting to know where all their children died and this one died and that one died. Why? We're supposed to be getting our youth and them now into factories, into
Yes.
working, into producing, into imagination, ingenuity. We're supposed to be building things.
Yeah.
Why is our intelligence have become so
Yeah.
debased that we rather resort to war instead of thinking of how we can collectively develop the nation and establish ourselves in this world?
And while the Western making money over this gun, even the same thing in Africa, in America, I see the young people killing each other there. Who we don't even make that gun, and they give us that gun, and young people are losing their life on the street over nothing. So that's by design, and we fall for it every time. How do we get out of that insanity?
That's what we have to
Like you
really.
said, we don't even make no gun. We don't even produce no gun here in Africa.
The only way it's going to be changed is if
But they make money off us by selling the
you see,
guns and by killing us.
mental slavery is what has replaced physical slavery. So if they can mentally indoctrinate you and turn you into a certain element of thought,
Yeah,
then they can control you.
yeah,
So they just come and they give you the guns and they say, yeah, this one is Tigray, this one is Amara, this one is Oromo. Yeah, man, kill him, man, because he do you that. How much 1,000 years ago? Yeah, this one, and kill him because he do. And they just propagate myths and falsehoods and then stimulate the youth, pay some politicians some money and allow him to go and propagate that to the detriment of the nation. So these are some of the things that we need to speak out and make them know. No, now is a time that we're supposed to establish peace on the African continent. The African Union cannot be existing as a body and unable to have conflict resolution as part of their major, that's about top priority. At no time should we allow anything resorting to war. You know, we're supposed to just demonize war. See, that is not the way, that is not the path, not in this time.
yeah,
You know, we're supposed to be more spiritually conscious. That's where maybe the herb need to legalize more. But you see here, they demonize it now and claiming that it's for the youth and them smoking up. That's why they join the TPLF and they fight in war. And that's why the Shani and them fight, you know. And they demonize it instead of enlightening to the people, well, their social needs. Study first, what is it the people and them are fighting over? For what cause or purpose are they fighting? Let us see how we can solve it, for what problem it is, why we cannot come together, because we live as one nation. You understand? Over all of that is how we achieve all our glory, is when we were united as a people.
yeah,
So now the white man recognized that he had to try to stop us from re-emerging. So
yeah,
now he helps promote all those little wars and strikes and to keep us confused, while he come and he grab all our resources and walk away with it, so you don't have to pay no tax. So if you study like in the Congo and then everywhere they are great mineral, they will create those little water so they could keep all your oil, your uranium, whatever they need, your lithium. Like what now they want to go into Haiti because Haiti has a source of a vital substance, rare substance that they need in their high-tech industry. So now they create all their chaos, and now all they're talking about is U.S. intervention, to go into Haiti one more time. And they have been there already and caused enough chaos.
yeah,
But now you see, they're trying to create another chaos for them to come back to control. Because in Haiti, as a certain, say a meteorite that dropped there a couple of 1,000 years ago, and it leave a certain mineral that's vital, similar to lithium, but it's something else. But it's vital to the high tech, for your G5.
yeah.
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 But everything, like even iPhone wouldn't be an iPhone without the Congo. They get all the stuff from Congo.
From
Every single thing they get from Africa. The diamond industry is controlled by European. The gold industry is controlled by European. The petrol industry is controlled. The mine industry is controlled by the European. But the problem I have is they never give back nothing. At least, take some from Africa, but you never give back nothing to the Africans. In fact, you actually make us fight. So
the
when we fight,
capitalist imperialists have no conscience. There is no conscience within their mindset. That is why they are what they are. Or if you just imagine what was slavery. Someone with conscience couldn't have initiated that. It's people without a conscience who did those things. It's similar up to these days, the same capitalist imperialists. You're interested in profit and wealth. You don't control. If I'm an African, I don't want you to come in my country and go dig up plutonium and uranium when I know the side effect from their mining cannot be pacified in no way. They can forever be radioactive and cause death and pollution and all that. Why should I be digging it up for? The plutonium is in it, the uranium is here. We don't have no control to say no, we're not mining that. But the Western powers want it, so they just come like in Mali That's why France was in Mali, it was for the uranium.
Yeah.
So in the same way, in South Africa, it's the same thing. They take up all the plutonium and uranium and all the waste. They come and dump it around the ghettos in South Africa. That's where they dump their waste. They don't have no disposable format, but they bring it around a place where they're going to poison the people out there because of the activity. So it's them kind
Wow.
of things that Africa we need to be getting to some serious discussion. That's why you say Rastafari now, that is the next stage of development. We
Yeah.
have to bring our allied self now into a political force. Here they grant us what they call legality, but they tell us we cannot involve in nothing political or to join the military. But as African and returning African, we're supposed to have equal rights as every other
Yeah.
because we are not Dominicans. I
Yeah.
was a slave plantation. Christopher Columbus was a madman. He was going for India. He ended up in the Caribbean. And he called my country Domingo in Spanish, which means Sunday. Now we turn into Dominica. The original name of our country is Waitikobodi. It was the lands of the Kalinago people, the Indian people who inhabited those areas of the world.
Mm.
So you cannot classify me as nothing other than who I am. I didn't go there on my own. We were forcefully taken.
Yeah.
So in returning home, we're supposed to have equal rights to get involved and in order to bring forward suggestions and get involved as anyone else.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just a matter of time. These things will
It
evolve.
will catch up. It's catching up on them right now because you can't just take and take and take, not give back to, and then put yourself out there while you're oppressing the people you've been taking
Because
from.
that's what the reparations is all about. That's why you hear Rastaman be talking to me want reparations and because for what slavery? Because the Jewish people, not the Jewish people, the Jewish state, they have received how much reparations from
Yeah.
Germany?
But no African American received nothing yet.
But
No Africans received nothing yet.
Germany almost wiped out the Herero people in Namibia. Yeah, up to now they don't want to apologize and if there any form of reparation. But to the other European people who they call Jews, they have given them back millions upon millions upon millions. And it's only 6 million Jews they killed. Whereas in slavery they took 100 million of I and I.
Yeah.
You understand? But they have not found it fit to give any reparation. But that is why you see now the war is raging.
Because they probably have to file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
If they gave us reparation, they probably have to file bankruptcy.
No, all they have to do is print the money like they do every day. Montana, like right now, America has $30 trillion in debt. They print everyday money, but they don't print the money for Africans and for African Americans. They just fool us every day. Who's going to ask England or America not to print the money? They print the money for them, but why don't they print the money for us?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into arguing about
honestly. Like right now, America's is in debt like $30 trillion. If they give us here for Africa that much, we can change Africa.
But that is why we have to be careful in taking their money. Because they can give you their money today and tomorrow devalue it. I would rather want reparations in material form.
Yeah.
Tractors, excavators, horses,
technology, equipment.
Because as you said, although they just keep on printing.
Yeah.
So they can give you and then tomorrow devalue it, you can't get nothing from it.
Yeah.
So it's more them technicalities we have to be wise in. But
if we get the funds, we can buy the equipment.
But that is it. But like I said, if they devalue it after they give it to you, you can't buy nothing because the money would have no worth. But if you get the material and get all the equipment, then they cannot take it back from you.
Yeah.
You understand? But what we have to really start is I have to push that. The problem is a lot of the governments that represent for reparation. Even in the Caribbean countries, they set up different formats, they have different processes where they claim in reparation, but they're not pushing it.
Yeah.
You understand? And enforcing it. Because especially in the Caribbean, we actually brought their slaves. And from the profits of the slave plantations in the Caribbean, that's how Europe and all them other countries were built. So we have a definite right, but the governments and them, playing trying to talk pampering them. You cannot pamper when you come to those matters.
Yeah, our people sell out too sometimes. That's the problem.
That is
Yeah,
They
what.
give
see,
their money. The European
yeah,
know
see,
how to sell the to fool our black people. America here too. So
well,
that's why they come here and take whatever because they pay few people.
And
You know.
sometimes what you find is again some people in the West, the reparations they want is for them to own a flat in the West.
Mm.
They're not talking about coming home.
Yeah.
So that is where we have to make that distinction because for you to really make a valid claim for reparation, you should be talking about coming home to build up Africa.
Yeah.
Because from here we were taken.
In fact, right now, what I'm really disgusted about is in America. Right now, we're talking about reparation. They don't even want to give Africans, even if you're Africans, you're not entitled to that reparation. That's what they're fighting on. I mean, these are the Africans you brought from here. You destroyed Africa. Do you see what I mean? And they don't even want to talk about Africa reparation. They don't even want to talk about African American reparation. You see what I mean? They try to make it even now. They're making it they making it divisive. Oh, Africans should be getting. But imagine if the African American were up there, how much Africa would have benefited. The China is benefiting because the Chinese in America. The Europe is benefiting because the European, the white European in Europe. The Latin Mexico is benefiting the Mexican. But how come Africa is not benefiting from the African American because they're not giving the African American the reparation? Because if they do that, they know Africa will benefit too. Do you see what I mean? The only continent not benefiting from America, only Africa.
You see, slavery was never designed.
And then we built America for 400 years slavery. That's a lot of years. 403 years slavery that built America. Now Africans are still poor. You see what I mean?
The imbalance are still, but that is why now we see there are set thrones of judgment
Yeah.
upon Babylon. So there is a time for everything. So now you can see right now they are waging a war where they are determined to wipe out one another.
Yeah.
Very soon you might hear they drop on one another. Understand? So maybe prophecy have to fulfill upon them first to be able to get them more justice.
Yeah, black people need to be united, whether it's Caribbean, African American, Africans. If we united, then we have power. But right now, by design, we are divided. So divide and conquer is still working on us.
Well, it just take a matter of time for those things to evolve.
Yeah.
Once we have the vision of how it's supposed to be and what is necessary, remember all our ancestors before, from Marcus, His Majesty, everyone strive towards that unity to build that unity because without unity you have no strength.
Yeah.
Once we can break down the barriers that divide us and
Yes.
find common ground,
Mm-hmm.
then we will find a solution to all those things. Because as black people, we have the potential to eradicate all forms of poverty.
Yes.
For instance, if they just legalize the herb here in Ethiopia, we could take all the youth and them as they're sitting on the side of the road and immediately give them employment. And we can build up agro industries and we can build up business, we can inter-African trade and we can export to Europe or wherever, and we can build up ourselves. We ourselves restrict ourselves in developing the wealth potential that we have because Ethiopia has the perfect land and environment to grow some of the best weed in the world. You so then why are we
Are you hearing that, Montana?
Why are we suppressing this?
Yeah.
Why are we choosing the path of poverty and going for beggar board?
Yeah.
don't call Montana now. I've been wanting to get in the conversation.
Huh?
I said, don't call Montana now. I've been wanting to get in the conversation. I just been letting you talk.
Okay, go ahead, dear.
No, it's too late now.
We've just been listening. This is so. Oh my God, you are such a historian and an educator. I am just enjoying this. You are an amazing man.
Yes.
I'm so appreciative, and I'm so humbled that you're sharing this with me. You're educating me. But I do want to say this one thing. The reason that they show our American kids that Africa lives like wouldn't live like city people is because they are afraid to give these young people to take them out of fear. They want to keep these young people in fear and in lies. Don't want the young people to know how much power they really have. That's what's going
Yes.
on with it. And the education starts at home. It takes a man like you to educate a man like Montana, for Montana to educate his son, for his son to educate his friends, for their eyes to be open. That's where it starts.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yes, yes.
A lot of Americans, they think that the teachers should educate their children when the teachers are living on lies themselves. So when our eyes are
Yeah.
open at home, this is where the education begins, at home.
Yep.
You know, be it a two parent family, one parent family, someone's eyes need to be open in order to educate your children and turn them around.
And sometimes it's just
Yep.
in that child. Sometimes it's just in that child. Sometimes it don't come from the home. Sometimes it's coming to the child. And you know what I mean? You look at a lot of successful children that come back to their house, and that's all you wouldn't even imagine they came up out of that. So you know, every situation is quite different. But I
Well,
buy what brother.
they had to get it from someone.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Go
I
ahead,
mean,
Montana.
No, I was just saying the comment that you made about the money, not getting the money because you can devalue that. I appreciate that statement because I 100% agree with that. Like I would rather take my supposedly 40 acres in a mule. I know I can live off my 40 acres. I can't live off your money. You know,
Yeah.
I can't eat your money. Your money's can't. I can't. It won't shelter me. It has no value for them to even devalue it from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like the value is what we use it to obtain what we got. But if you just give me that or allow me to construct that in my own and let me get the materials, and then we all good. You know. So I just wanted to chime in on that statement because I'm one of them. I don't want their money. You know, I can go into a history of me being a black person or a black male here in the United States, and I had a hustle that I never required money. I never worked. I never did anything like that. I always used a bartering system. You know, I was a jack of all trade and a master of none, but still a master in just conquering whatever I did here. And I never really had money. It just recently with this COVID is now that I had to learn how to value their money and going to the grocery stores and they what's going on? Oh, okay.
Go
It's
ahead.
something pop up. But actually going to the food and seeing how much the value of the food is going up and how much the dollar is going up. Um, so it's just it's a trip and it's a game of life that I look at it and if you play it well, you play it right, you can get through. If you don't care and you don't care about the rules and you don't care, some people make their own rules. Some people, you know, go about their own way. So me as a black male, I just wanted to say that to my brother there in Africa that not all of us really think like that. And you know, I would be happy if I was anywhere. I would adapt to where I lived at. I'm just that type of person. So it's like it's not about the money. It's about me more so the resources. Like you said, the soil. Give me land, you know, give me some seeds and I can feed my people. We can get good and we can just live right there. Because at the end of the day, that's all it's all about. Everything else that they try to throw in throw in there during the day when we wake up before we go to sleep to throw us off the track, you know, sometimes that's our fault as an individual, as a person. It doesn't matter where you're at. You know, if you're running a race, sometimes we slow up when we know we can still be running. And that to me is just life. Um, I don't know what you think about that.
I mean, for me, how I think of it, because we're thinking about in general. Me and you are different. Do you see what I mean? I could be one of that 1%. Do you see? But we're talking about the majority of our people. They're not, like you said, like in America, if we talk about, let's say, the majority of African American, if you ask them to give them money or land, they will pick the money. Do you see what I mean? Because we're living in a culture, most people don't even know America culture is money, sex, drug, and gun. So
And what do you do with the
people like
money?
me and you
You
might be exceptional. We
yeah,
don't
see,
think that way, but when we're talking about in general how our people are, our their mentality, where it's at, is where they're at is on the money still.
hmm. So you get the
You know,
money, then you turn around.
people still kill for money. They kill each other to steal for money for nothing.
Yeah, you get the money, you turn around and give it back to them. I think there was a statistic that I seen that the Chinese here in the United States, the Chinese community, their dollar stays in their community for 8 days.
Yeah.
The white dollar stays in their community for 5 days. The Mexican dollar or the Hispanic dollar stays in the community for 3 days. Do you know how long the black dollar stays in the community?
Probably not even a day.
6 hours.
Wow.
6 hours.
That's why I feel like that's how I feel that our community, I feel like our black community is broke,
So
you
so
know,
that's so
because
that's
we
why
don't have enough money in the community. When you don't have enough money in the community, then that is where poverty breeds and violence breeds and all that.
uh, we got the money. We just giving it to them people. That's
Yeah.
what it is. We don't have the land. And that's why I say it's me here. Give me the land, and then I can create something to where that money can generate money.
Yes. Absolutely.
They always say money can make money. Sometimes money can you can lose money too with the money. And
Yes.
then what?
Yes.
If I
Yep.
got
Absolutely.
if you get don't even give me 40 acres. Give me 2 acres and a dog and watch what I do. But give
Yeah.
me your money. A year later, I'm broke again,
Yeah.
or the stock
But in the
market crash.
meantime, what we have to concentrate on is to use up the resources that we have in our possession and under our control to raise ourselves with that and use up all what we have around us. For instance, here in Africa, there, we have an abundance of land here in Ethiopia.
Hmm.
Is to put maximum use of the land into agricultural production, etc. And
Yes.
we raise ourselves. We cannot continue with the dependency syndrome of waiting on people to hand out and beg out. Whereas we have land that is dormant and that can be used, and we have to change our educational system. There is too much stress on the theoretical and not on the practical aspect of living.
Yeah.
Because as an African people in our ancient tradition, you would not go to school until you were 14 years of age. You first had to learn the basics of your culture, which was intimated with the land and
Right.
agriculture and livestock, etc. So that is what we have to regain in ourselves, especially those of us here on the African continent. We have to regain our identity and live up in the manner that we used to live, because the resource that we have here in Africa is land,
Mhm.
and we have to make total use of it and be able to get involved in cultivation of crops that will give us maximum yield. And besides, feeding our own self,
Hmm.
because now with the GMO and all them different little things that they put in the foods, etc., we have to
Exactly.
be very careful because that'll be another form of slavery. Imagine here in Ethiopia, they plant a white maize. It is produced by a company called Pioneer from America. This maize, when you pick it, even though the corn is dry, it cannot reproduce itself. Every
Yes.
year, you have to buy back the seed.
Yes.
Whereas before, it's only yellow corn we used to plant here in Africa. But now here in Ethiopia, you can hardly find somebody planting a yellow corn. It's only I and I as Rasta who plant yellow corn. Everybody else is in this GMO exterminator seed. And every year they have to be buying it. it cannot reproduce itself. So just
Yeah.
now it will make I and I as an African people, it will make
Okay.
us unable to reproduce children. Because if you eat enough food that cannot reproduce itself, naturally you yourself will become
That,
infertile.
Yeah.
So
that's
it
what
is part of the psychological brainwash.
they're doing in the cannabis industry too as well. They're called feminized seeds. That's when they stressed out that plant to where they only produce female seeds and they don't produce any male seeds.
So you can't produce it on your own because
No,
without the male you can't.
no, yep, yep.
Uh, yeah. So when we're working against nature, and the nature is gonna come and bite out behind eventually.
Yeah, because whatever anyhow you feed it or something, then it will create
Yeah.
an imbalance within the human body.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's what is happening right now. Like, look at California. It's every time we have fire because when the indigenous people lived there, they never had no fire. But now we have every year, twice a year, we have fire every day. I mean, because we don't know how to deal with the nature that exists there, because that's not their nature
Yeah, yeah.
to take care of that nature.
Yeah.
Do you see what I
Because
mean?
nobody you can see they will destroy, they will cut down every tree to attain what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, to them it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I think the solution is really Black people uniting, finding our solution, and instead of trying to find the solution from the Western and from other people.
And the way I watch it too, if you have to depend on the European colonizer, the slave master, to give you reparations for you to liberate yourself or get involved in things or to build a nation, we could be waiting for another 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because that devil has no intention of giving you anything to help you to free up
None,
yourself.
Not at all.
Because then
none
he won't be, his
whatsoever.
system won't exist.
Yeah.
So we
Exactly.
just have to find our way, be humble and find our ways day by day and see how we raise ourselves. Because when I watch the mentality that they persist in,
Yeah. It's all to take,
yeah,
not to give.
it's better for our to just watch and humble and know where
Yeah.
Yeah.
prophecy will fulfill upon them. In their greed and their lust, they will destroy their own self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I always ask people, what is American culture? Even they can't even tell me what their culture is. I'll tell them what it is. It's money, sex, drug, and gun violence is American culture.
Yeah, that is their culture.
Those are the four cultures that our Black youth are caught up on. Do you see what I mean? So what are they supposed to do?
But you see, it's
Say 'em
ready.
again. Hold on. Say 'em one more time.
I said American culture is money, sex, drug, and gun violence. And then our young youth are caught up one way or another on that, and they are trapped in there. Especially our Black youth. I see my daughter trapped in there. I see a lot of our younger generation Black people, your youth trapped in there, not their own fault, because that's the culture is
Yeah.
provided to them. Like you were saying, the gun is the gun culture. America is a gun culture. So when the gun is around the youth, and then just because they're mad and they go and shoot each other, do you see what I mean? And when the sex is all over their face, what are they supposed to do? Do you see what I mean? They're young. The same thing with money. They don't have no value of money
Yeah.
because they think money is what is going to buy them this, buy them that. So that culture is, but that's not African culture. That's not our Black culture here. So, and then our people, our youth are caught up in that culture. And how are they going to get out? They're stuck. If they get out of that, they are lucky, like you. Do you see what I mean?
Nah, it wasn't a lot of luck. It was just a
No,
lot
I'm
of.
just saying
It, it was
it
just a
has to
lot.
be like, it's not just luck, but I'm just saying it is very hard. Even me as Ethiopian, grew up in this culture to raise my children in my culture. It is practically impossible in America because my young kids, my young daughter is caught up in the young people in there. And there's everything is around them.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they? So the music is all about gun, violence, sex, drug, and all that. Now it never used to be.
Not all of it.
So
They can buy my album. I don't have all that on there.
not you because you're 40-year old. Me and you are
Hey,
too
wait a
old for
minute.
that. We're talking about
What?
our younger generation. We're talking about our young youth are lost because the old people like us are not paying attention what is happening to them.
No, we paying attention. We
No, we're
paying
not. I see there's
we paying
nobody
attention.
older generation are so disconnected to with the younger generation. Our young men are dying on the street for nothing. For nothing.
It's sad that it's still going on, but it ain't like it just started.
Yeah, but it needs to
You know.
stop. It's not fair that young youth in America, black youth, can't even pass 21, 22. My daughter just buried, she already buried four of her friends. They're not
Hmm.
even 21 before 21. I never had to bury none of my friends here. I'm just saying from the community violence and gun violence, that's not acceptable at all. I don't know how we even accept that in our mind that our
Yeah,
youth are dying every day in America, black youth. Never in this world. People go to war and die, that's a different thing. But on the street, where have you seen in the world where young men are dying of a gun violence every day? Because we black people, as older people, are so disconnected to that.
yeah, yeah.
And we
Hey,
it
are you?
becoming normal now that the police violence killing our youth. No, nobody even. It's like becoming normal. The youth, the young people fighting against each other from because of they are in different location. That's becoming normal. But who's buying? Who's making that money off that gun
Yeah,
that they used to kill each other? Think about it. So it's all by design, but like he was saying, until we wake up in our mind what is happening to us, there's no solution. And especially people in music industry, like industry and all that, we need to find the solution for our youth, our stuff, like you were saying, by giving them maybe an acre land to grow in the vegetable or cannabis to do the
hmm,
sales to teach them how to sell weed on the online and instead of hustling on the street. You see what I mean?
hmm. So, well,
Yeah, but something gotta change though. Otherwise, our youth are dying here in Africa by design. There in America, our black youth are dying. Our black youth are dying here in Europe by design. All that is can be, prevented. Don't you think so? Especially the
mm,
killing. Yeah. Why are our black people, our youth, are sacrificed for the evil every day? I feel like it's sacrifice. Black youth are sacrificing here in Africa and in America too.
Designed that way. Once you killing yourself, then they can rule. It's divide and rule. It's been the ancient law of colonization. Divide and rule. So
Yeah.
what they allow, that's why you see they allow all the guns and drugs to proliferate in the black community. Get the youth and them fighting one another because if they have to study their actual condition and why they're in that condition, they'll be rebelling against the system. So instead of them rebelling against the system like all the Black Panthers used to do, what they do now, they have them killing one another. And that's where they can continue to dominate and have keep you total confusion while
But
continue
how do we
to
wake up to that? To get out of that cycle, we just into that cycle,
I
like
think it will take a lot of work, but it's
yeah.
community consciousness that have to be growing. You know, you'll always find that ones and ones just have to take it up as a responsibility. It's a duty, as our historical duty within the context of the time we live in. Is to raise the consciousness of our people to come out of that syndrome that they've been trapped into. So this
that.
is already going on, been going on, so it will take a
Yeah.
little time, but we still need to raise that consciousness that is a no-go sin to be continuing to be shooting one another, we're fighting over drugs, getting involved with crack and cocaine and those things. These things are total insanity.
Yeah.
That is where you totally break from your African tradition because what is crack and what is cocaine, you don't know nothing about those things.
Yeah.
They create it, but then they supply it to you to get you confused, and then you end up killing one another. So we need to fight the source, the cause of what are causing the youth and them to get so confused. Is that
Yeah.
they fight it for money and for material things, and they think getting involved in the job trade will
Hello?
give to them.
Yeah.
Hello?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, drummer. We can hear you. Pat.
Okay. Wow, it took me a minute to get back in.
Yeah,
All
we
What
can hear
right.
you
happened?
now.
The government then kicked you off?
Yeah, I don't know. It just like clicked me. Yeah, there I'm back. All right.
I said we got to get rid of her off the air right there.
Yeah, something like
Okay.
that happened. Well, I'm back. I hope I haven't missed too much. I
No,
probably missed a lot.
but yeah, it's not gonna happen overnight because if you just think about it like this, 50 years ago, we couldn't be talking to each other right now and even having these discussions. So anything and everything is gonna take time. So it's not gonna happen overnight. You know,
Yeah.
uh, sadly, I train dogs and I watch a lot of dog traits, and I can't help but to see a lot of dog traits in some of humans. And I see how they survive. I see how some mothers push push sick dogs away. They sometimes eat their dogs before the other animals come and prey and eat them dogs away, um, and eat the rest of them, and she can't defend them. So I see a lot of that. So it's sometimes we have to look
Wow.
back, and it's human nature. If we didn't have guns, we would have knives. We didn't have knives, we would have spears. We didn't have spears, we have rocks. We didn't have rocks, we have hands. So sometimes, as sad as it is, you know, it's fortunate that, I mean, it's like less fortunate that a lot of people die young, but then sometimes we have to celebrate the ones that live old, the ones that chose not to be out there on the streets in arm's way and make those dumb decisions, because not everybody is perfect. Not everybody makes those conscious decisions. So sometimes the ones that make it out of those decisions and choose to go left instead of going right, or choose to turn around instead of going forward. Sometimes we need to praise them. Sometimes, you know, um, because like they said, one bad apple can spoil a bunch. So are we sitting back worrying about this one right here? There's a lot of other ones that need to be praised too as well. So I just think a lot of that. Yeah, it is set up that way, but then there's a road set up the other way too. So sometimes those people choose that road. Um, I come from a family like that where we're split up. Half of them went right, the other half went left. Some stayed neutral. So sometimes it's like that, and it's sad. I come from a family that suffered in the '80s, and I seen Oakland before crack era
Mhm.
came. I seen North Richmond and Richmond area that was hit heavily before crack. And then once I seen it, I seen my family split apart, you know, but those people chose to split apart. Those people got addicted and went that way. There's some people I know that hit the pipe or hit the weed or hit this and didn't go that way and were they were stronger. So sometimes it's human nature, you know, and it's sad, but it's always going to be competition. I'm always going to think I look better than this guy. I always think you know, some guy might always think I can knock this guy out, or this guy might always think I'm smarter than this person, or it's always going to be some type of competition, because if you take the human aspect out of it and just look at everything else around us in life, that's kind of how it is. Dog chased the cat, cat chased the rat. The rat is chasing something else. And sometimes it is. If you look around, it is really a doggy dog eat world. So we just live on this ride and be blessed with everything that we do have around us, even if sometimes it doesn't look like it's good, or we're going through bad, or sometimes people take the baddest situations and make them the best, and you would never understand that because you're not in that person's shoes. So sometimes we just need to just reflect, you know what I mean, on something, and just be blessed that we can have a conversation, record it, and do a podcast like this. I'm honored to be able to talk and speak my mind freely off of smoking some herb, and I just dropped her. That's messed up, but I continue on for the stream purpose that, sometimes we just have to really, black people out there, accept that sometimes you're gonna have a knucklehead and sometimes you ain't. Sometimes you're gonna be able to save that person, sometimes you ain't. Sometimes you're designed to save that person, sometimes that person designed to fail. Sometimes, just like that. Just wake up in the morning. If you want to smoke your herb, and just live happy. Live that. Keep your head on the swivel, because you might be coming up against somebody that didn't wake up like you and not feeling like you.
That's right.
So just hopefully you can make it through and be blessed. Oh, we got her back in here.
She back. Yeah.
See, drummer, I'm one of them. I'm one of them other ones. I see it from both angles. Like I don't like. I'm not one of them ones that like to make excuses and look for handouts and everything like that. I got the same hands, the same eyes, same mouth, same everything that you got. So if my color is this color, I use my color to whatever advantage it is supposed to get me in during that situation. You know,
Yeah, I'm just
I don't.
listening, just listening to the priest. Just I'm just listening and learning, man. He's just so full of wisdom. He's just filling my spirit.
Yeah, that's a lot of
You know,
confirmation for me.
just a look on his face alone, just that so calm.
I'm trying to see. She joined, but her um, camera hasn't popped up yet. I'll get her in there. See if she can join back up in a hot second. Zion, you there? We'll chime back in. Yeah, I wanted to see if we were supposed to get a tour. She just sat down and just started talking.
Right.
we we went all into reparations and the black. We supposed to be stuck in the cannabis now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I got to chime in on this. We're not just,
But it was so much it was so much education and so much wisdom flowing. You just couldn't. There's nothing to say, but just
hmm
listen, just absorb it all, man. And he's been living there as a roster for 30 years. 30 years. So that means he has
I want.
meditated.
I'm not getting off this air, ladies and gentlemen, until I see the man that ain't that man's feet. I don't know if I don't, it ain't his feet. It's somebody else's feet.
Not
But I am
him.
not leaving this air
Not him.
until
Else.
it's somebody
That's
else she's supposed to go and see. I want to see the feet. I need to
you're
document.
not gonna see
I need, we need to get
that
these feet
farmer that she's
documented.
talking about.
Because I was about to say I need to get these feet documented. Well, I think that's our time, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen.
I can
Uh,
catch when someone's.
because drummer,
It's
your
been nice,
signal. Look, I'm gonna tell you like this. I mean, she has an excuse because she's out in the middle of the motherland right now. You know what I mean? So I know AT&T towers and shit ain't all around there. But your signal, you didn't drop, flip, flop, came all that. You know what I mean? We're gonna need to get a better signal next year, next week.
Okay. All right. Well, anything and
We gotta get
everything to do the thing, I'm ready for it.
on. We gotta get on the laptop. You got a laptop. It's a
Oh,
lot better. Yeah,
well, yeah, I can get a tablet or whatever else. Yeah.
yeah. We get on the
Uh-huh.
tablet. But it's been a
Yeah.
pleasure with you as always. It's always a treat when players meet. You know that. And
I
yeah, I had fun tonight. I really enjoyed my high. We went longer than expected. You know, this actually is a two-part thing. I'm kind of glad it did. So when people go back, they'll be able to watch the first part, and that's her journey there. And then for some odd reason, the stream ended, and then it picked up right as we were talking to the brother. So that's good. So we can go in there. We got a good segment here, and I want to thank everybody that came in and out. We had a couple viewers coming in and out. We still got one hanging out with us right now, whoever that is. Thank you for joining us, and look out for us next week. You got
Yes,
any closing
sir.
words?
Just continue to be a blessing.
Who, me or you?
Everyone, anyone and everyone that's listening, continue be a blessing.
All right, and that's from the drummer. We out.
That's all right. Bless us.